Good morning, everyone. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. It's Monday and it's week 6 of our rapid reasoning. So I'm going to start today by going through Monday's answers. We had 3 questions to look at on Monday. So looking at the first question, tick all the acute angles. So we need to think about what we know about angles. Now I know that an acute angle is any angle that is less than 90 degrees. So I'm going to have a look there and see whether there's some that I can see straight away that are less than 90. Yep, the one at the bottom right, less than 90 degrees, quite easy to see that one. And the middle one at the top is less than 90 degrees. Now, I know that on geometry, if we mark an angle that's 90 degrees, it has a square marking as opposed to a curved one. So the first one can't be less than 90 degrees because it is 90 degrees. So cross that one. You don't need to do this. I'm just crossing it to help. And then looking at the middle one at the bottom, I can see that that's more than 90 degrees. So that's what we call an obtuse angle. So I'll put a cross there. Now, the next 2 are very close to 90 degrees. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a protractor, or we sometimes call it an angle measurer at home, you can measure the angles on those and see that the one in the top right is 85 degrees. So that is an acute angle. And the bottom left is 95 degrees. So that one isn't an acute angle. So we've got the 3 acute angles ticked there. Now, lots of you might be thinking, well, I haven't got a protractor at home, but one thing you can do if you're looking at whether something is less than or more than or equal to 90 degrees is you can use something that you know is a right angle. So you could use the square corner of a piece of A4 paper, and what I've done is I'm showing this here that the top right is less than 90 by putting a square in it. I know this is a square, and you can see that the angle is less than the 90 degrees on the square. And using the same method, I can look at the bottom left and I can see that that is an obtuse angle because it's more than 90 degrees. Question 2 for today's maths. We need to fill in the missing digits in the boxes. So I'm looking for something, first of all, that I add to 4 to make either a 2 or a number that ends in 2, or press the button too quickly. So it's going to be 8, because 8 add 4 makes 12, but it's really important that I don't forget the 1 in the tens column from the 12, so I'll mark that in there. So the next one, I've got the numbers I need to add. I've got 8 and 3 and my 1 underneath, which makes 12 again. So I'll put a 2 there and I'll put the 1 there. So now I need 6, add something, add the 1. Can't make 3, so it must make 13. So 6 add the 1 is 7, and I need to add another 6 in there to make 13. So again, I need to put the 1 underneath, which means I've got 5, add the 1 underneath, makes 6 in the thousands column. So I'm just going to check through that as if it was an addition and forget that it was the missing digits. So 8 add 4 makes 12, yep, and I've got that there. 8 add 3, add the 1 underneath, makes 12 again, and I've marked a 1 carried there. 6 add 6, add the 1 underneath, makes 13, and then 5 add the 1 makes 6. So I'm happy with that one. We've got a word problem next. Now we need to think when we see a word problem, make sure we answer the whole problem, don't just answer the first part. A toy shop orders 14 boxes of small bouncy balls. Each box contains 24 bags of bouncy balls. Each bag contains 5 small bouncy balls. How many small bouncy balls does the toy shop order? So before I can work out how many they order, I need to work out how many are in a box. So a box has 24 bags. Each bag has 5 small balls. So each box has 24 times 5 bouncy balls. So I'm going to do 24 times 5, and that will work a box out for me first. So 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. So I can mark my 20 like that. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Add my 2 that I've carried is 12. So I'll mark my 12 like that. The other way of multiplying by 5 is to multiply by 10 and halve it. So I'll just check using that method. 24 multiplied by 10 is 240, and half of that is 120. So I'm happy with that. Don't write 120 in the box because we haven't answered the question yet. We want to know how many small bouncy balls the toy shop orders. So it ordered 14 boxes. Well, I know that one box is 120 balls. So 14 boxes is 120 times 14. So let's work through this one. So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 1 is 4 in the hundreds column. Now, before I move on, because I'm not multiplying by 1, I'm multiplying by 10, I need my 0 in the ones column as a placeholder. So then 1 times 0 is another 0. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. And actually what I've done there is 120 times 10, and I know if I did a different method, it would give me 1,200. So to work out how many bouncy balls altogether, I'm going to add those two together, which gives me 1,680 bouncy balls. And that's the answer to day 1's questions. Now, I've lined up a helper to help me with day 4's questions. If there's anybody that would like to help me with day 5's, could you do those early and either email them to me or email them to Mr. Garley, and we'll try and find a way of communicating with you so that you can be my guest on day 5's maths. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 2's answers.